So it is the first day of building a new routine. I am not a morning person. I have never been a morning person. I have hated getting up early in the morning since I was in middle school. I don't like anything about it. It's I prefer the warmth and the comfort of my bed, and I would rather be up all night than get up early in the morning. But circumstances have changed. So this is the first Monday of the start of something different. The way things had been going for the last 15 years really, I really haven't felt like I have been in control. And for different reasons. You know, when you get to a certain age and you have certain responsibilities, you do lose a certain amount of control about your life. But I'm at the age now where I need to be more active and less passive about the things that are going on in my everyday, day-to-day activities. And, you know, I used to be much more diligent about working out, going to the gym. That got away from me, you know, between kids and the jobs that I had at the time. I lost sight of that. So this is a start of me trying something new. Going to work out first thing in the morning, getting up earlier than I usually do, and getting a workout in before starting the rest of my day. Typically, my energy levels peak in lunchtime, mid-afternoon, somewhere around there. And there was a point in time where I was consistent about working out, where I was taking a long lunch break and working out on my lunch break. And I like that, but it's not feasible. It's not feasible for a lot of reasons, and you know, one of them being is that obviously it's just the middle of the workday, and there are 100 different things that could happen while you're at work that would cause you to miss that gym session for that day. So I need to just get it done. I feel better when I work out. It's a good start to the day. I need to just suck it up, you know. I've tried working out at night. That's what when I was trying to be more consistent, that was the only option I had, you know, with young kids and coming home from work, and then just being able to spend some time with them before they went to bed, and that was the only option, and I had no energy. I felt like I wasn't making any progress. It just wasn't worth the energy it took to try to do it. So working out in the evening, you know, that not happening. Now, for the last couple of weeks, I have been working out super late at night, like 9:30 at night. After the kids go to bed, I go hit the gym, and that was okay, but it just leaves you feeling amped up for the night. Like you still need to come down from the gym and you know, just take some time before you can go to bed. And it's not sustainable. Like, it worked for me for a couple of weeks, but it's not going to sustain me. So here I am, getting up to go work out in the morning. Yeah, and it's a change because I'm just, like I said, I'm not a morning person. Don't like getting up in the morning. But, you know, I'm almost 40 years old. I need to make sure that I'm staying consistent with working out. I need to stay active. And it's so easy in today's day and age where you just do nothing. You just sit and you're sedentary. You're behind you're behind a desk all day in an office where you barely have to walk around. You know, even if you're taking the stairs and doing those little micro challenges of yourself, you're not active enough for what your body really needs. So, and I love to work out. I mean, you know, I'm not looking to be some kind of bodybuilder or world-class athlete or anything like that. I just like, you know, when I was much more consistent with the gym, you know, I finally had some muscle mass that I felt good about myself. I felt stronger. I felt like I, you know, wasn't losing my breath when I was going up a flight of stairs. And you can't overrate those things. It's easy to say, oh, well, it's just the stairs. You shouldn't be out of breath going upstairs. It's like, well, after years of just not being active enough, you just lose that. And I want to be able to keep up with the kids. I want to be able to I want to feel better about myself. And it starts with maybe dropping a few pounds around the waist, and building some muscle back up around my shoulders. I've always been broad shoulders. I've always had a fairly broad back, and like I miss the feeling of just like feeling like confident, and it's more than just working out that brings that sense of confidence. Yeah, you gotta be confident in whatever size of shape of body you're in, but there's a certain amount of respect that you build for yourself, and that you demand for yourself when you've built a body that you put work into, because it takes time, it takes effort. This isn't something, it's not something that you can do once and all of a sudden you're even somewhat in shape. You have to stay consistent at it, and it's I don't know, I just like doing it too. Yeah. It's an escape from other responsibilities and everything else going on in the life, and you just put your earbuds in or headphones on and just drown out the rest of the world and just get it done. And I think if more people got themselves moving and realized what their bodies were capable of, they'd be surprised. Like, I haven't been consistent about working out. Let alone consistent. I haven't worked out in like the last 3 years. And when I went back to the gym a couple weeks ago, I was very surprised to see that I actually still retained a lot of the strength that I had from back then. And I was impressed with myself. I was still pushing the same rep ranges. I was still pushing the same weight. And after being 3 years of not touching a weight. So I was impressed with myself. And I think if more people pushed themselves, they would realize that they're capable of far more than they realize. It's one of the things that I try to teach the kids. It's one thing that I hope that they realize as they start to get older. Like my daughter, she's becoming more interested in working out. We've always advocated for them to be involved in some kind of activity or sport, whether it's playing field hockey or basketball or football or anything like that. It's just being somewhat physically active. It's just so important, and building up those habits when they're younger and finding out what they enjoy to do to stay active and reinforcing that, I think is critical. Even whether it's something as simple as dance. Dance is hard. I can't do dance. So I want to try to be more of an example now, and recognizing that they're always watching, and leading by example. If you have to actually lead, you actually have to be a good example. So sum it all up, it's the start of a new routine, getting up early in the morning, working out, this entrepreneurship journey that I'm going to be embarking on. It's going to be a interesting road, but I'm very excited to get involved with it, because the 9 to 5 just is not sustainable for me personally. I've come to realize that is just not my cup of tea. It is not what I am built for. And I'll talk about that in another video, but I am just I'm finally at the point where I have enough confidence in myself to say, yeah, you know what, I'm not doing this daily grind for people that I don't respect, or that don't respect me, for pay that isn't enough. And I want more. And even if it was enough to pay the bills beforehand, it's not enough for me for what the kind of life I want to lead. And it's not that I want to be a multimillionaire and drive multi-million-dollar cars or any of that materialistic bullshit. I just want to be able to feel like I'm not going paycheck to paycheck, and I also want to feel like I'm not slowly going insane with dealing with office politics. Just, yeah. But that's also what the gym is going to help alleviate, is some of that office politics stress. So, all right, so that's the vlog for today, and yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. Peace.